First off, I want to clarify some of my thoughts on where silver is going to ultimately. I am very bullish on silver, and I think it's probably going to go to $500 to $700 an ounce. But you know what? Obviously, I don't know. I want to point back to some of these charts. Like if I knew this, you know what? I was sold here. If I knew this was going to happen, I would have sold every single physical ounce and rebought here besides the electronic. I've been playing the market left and right and done the same thing over here and bought back here or in here or whatever. So, I don't know, okay? And I don't want anybody to believe that anybody else knows. I don't care what they tell you. But as a word of caution, you could be wrong if you try to wait and sell 100% at once. I don't personally like that method of selling. You should do it in pieces, 20%, 30% at a time, that type of stuff, or maybe 10%. In other words, maybe even if silver goes to $100-something an ounce, sell 10% of your holdings. I think that wouldn't be that stupid to do. At least you secured a gain. People tell you, oh, it's going to at least $1,000 an ounce, or whatever it's going to, right? Oh, hold out. Whatever you did, maybe that's going to be true. Maybe that is going to be true. Maybe you'll kick yourself. But I found it's kind of like a better method to be a little more conservative and cautious. And secure your gains. Just don't blow the money. That's really where people lose their money. They blow more money than they think. And that is your average person. They waste it left and right, nickel dime it left and right over the most stupid things going. So, people don't look at that angle too. That's really where they lose a lot of money. And let me put it this way. I'm like a Jew on steroids, okay? And I respect the Jews with their money, the way they do things. But I know how to really save money. And very, what comes in stays in. That's the way I look at it. And I put it in things that I think are going to grow. Now, as far as this silver gold ratio, this is something to watch very carefully. And, say this goes, I think this year it's going to go bust this. But when it starts busting this, you ought to be selling off if you have electronic. And if you want to even do a slight amount of physical, go ahead. I might do that too. Because physical that I bought now, and not much, I might just sell that when it goes at least double. Why not, right? But I'll probably sell the coins that are not American Eagles. And I just will also think that, what I'm saying, I think 500 to 700 an ounce might be the absolute top. But it could be a very brief window of opportunity. It could be a day, could be a week or something like that. And that's really the nature of silver. The opportunity you have to sell at the high point, look what happened here. It's even this. You didn't really have much of an opportunity to get it right here. Actually, this was kind of like a double top, because this chart is a daily chart. It doesn't really show it as well, but it's kind of like a double top if you look at it during another time frame. So it did have a, you don't really know. You don't really know. So people could be way off. From $30 to $32 to go up 10 times, that's $320. Maybe that's going to be the high. Maybe that's going to be the high. I know they pull out statistics about all this stuff, and I know even like if you take the inflation rate for shadow statistics, if you go back to the high when it was in 1979 or 80, the high would have been $402 using different type of inflation, more realistic type of inflation. But it only reached that high for a few hours, basically during one day. So, most of the other time, even that there was only a short period of time when it was over 35. It wasn't even that much because it tripled in the last couple months of 1979. Almost tripled. Almost tripled. So that's something you got to watch, because when it could actually do some crazy move like that, pull back and go up again. Nobody knew what was going to happen back then. But my advice, and it's not going to be 100% correct because obviously I'm not going to say, uh, I'm not going to tell you, and I don't know the exact high point. That would be the 100%. And that would have to be, if you knew that, you would never be on YouTube saying that. That's the game. It's a card game. You're screwing over the other guy. That's basically what's going on here. And somebody's going to grab that trade, whether it's physical silver or not, and it's going to sink like a stone. So beware of some of these people advocating these ridiculously high prices of silver. In my mind, it's clear as day. They have another agenda going on. And I think, I'm extremely bullish on silver, and I'm saying 500 to 700, and I'm thinking there's going to be inflation too, but not like hyperinflation. But still, that's a hell of a lot of money. That's a hell of a lot more money. I mean, that's a ridiculous gain beyond belief. It may not go that high. It may not go that high. And for that reason, I'm going to sell in increments up to that point, and I'm going to hold back a portion of it for a reason. Because I'm going by, I'll actually go by a lot by what Mark Faber says. This is a silver chart we're looking at. And I just want to go back to this thing. How many of these silver bull advocates were saying, oh, it's going to take off, and it crashed. And then they just tell you the conspiracy did it. Yes, that's true. But it's not the 100% truth. The market was getting ahead of itself. And this silver gold ratio is telling you something. And this silver gold ratio, that was historic. That was 15 to 1 for all these years. That's if they monetize silver. I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, maybe if the Chinese are controlling the earth, maybe it'll happen then. But if it's not going to happen by the Western elite, it'll probably be a basket of commodities. So beware. I mean, this is going to go down to, it may pass this 15 to 1 this time, but it's not going to be there very long. So this kind of gives you an idea of where your selling points are better than anything. So I think when this hits a real high this year, it's going to go, the ratio is going to go lower than this, and it's going to pull back again. So and just beware. I mean, you're better off selling in pieces, because I don't want to advise anybody wrong. And I think the people that are talking that silver is going to be these astronomical thousands of dollars an ounce, and in real dollars, they're misleading people. And I think they got a game. They got an agenda going on. People might not want to hear that, but I can't see how people could be saying that. That's really way off base in a lot of ways. Like I talked about industrial demand and industrial demand destruction. They will find ways not to use silver. Now, silver is going to go up many multiples of times from where it is right now. That's a fact. But when you're securing some seriously hard gains, you get, like in other words, this thing's sitting at $32. If it goes up 5 times, it's sitting at $160 an ounce. Do you think you should actually sell some? I would. I'm not exactly sure where I'm going to sell at because, I might, if I guess a peak and there's a 50% retracement, I'll buy back, because I think the ultimate price of silver definitely seems to have to be at least over $200 an ounce. I would think that's pretty conservative. So, but it might be that. It might be $200 to $300 an ounce. You never know. Now, people might accuse me of being a anti-silver person working for a cartel for saying that. But that might be the reality. You don't know who's going to be in charge of the Federal Reserve or what's going to happen in the financial system. Nobody knows. But I would hold back on selling all silver. Keep some of it, because there's a guy, this is what I was leading up to before, Mark Faber, I respect a great deal. He says that, and it's pretty much a no-brainer that most people would see this, but he says there's going to be a seriously hard crash, maybe 3 years, 5 years, 15 years, 10 years, or whatever, He doesn't know when. I know he does. Nobody really knows when. There's going to be a harder crash than the 2008 crash, and there's going to be a reset of the system. There's going to be a reset whereby they're going to have to come out with debt restructuring, new currencies. Governments are going to default on their debt. I think that situation might come about a lot sooner than even the 3 years. I don't think it's going to come about in 2012 because there's elections coming up, but maybe it'll come about in the end of 2013 or something like that. But you're going to see a lot more downgrades of debt, of nation's debt during these upcoming months, probably even maybe after the elections or whatever it is. And you're going to see the gold and silver prices go up for those reasons. But I think it should be like a step-by-step play that you secure profits when you see stellar gains and you watch this gold to silver ratio very carefully. But for the long term, you should hold back on the precious metals, not selling all of them, because there is some kind of uncertainty coming about, and the United States will default on its debt, which means I don't know what that means to the currency itself, and I think they're going to set the rules on that. But I don't think they're going to make it into like a zero value currency. So, and I think there's going to be a lot of rules coming up. I don't think it's going to be like a smooth sailing type thing where you can just, in an event of an economic calamity, you can just walk into stores, any place, and, just turn your coins in. They're going to have all kinds of rules on this stuff, left and right. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. So it's good to secure some profits and do it in steps because nobody really knows 100%. And beware of those people that are telling you these astronomical, super high prices because I think they're. It almost reminds me of a stock selling broker organization that is a pump and dump. You don't want to be on the other side of this, something like this. Now, as far as the people that are talking about doom and gloom in the Euro Union, Euro's still rising. All the debt downgrades and everything, the Euro's still rising. And this has a lot to do with why the precious metals are going up, especially the industrial metals, which includes silver. And I know a lot of people say silver is a monetary metal. It is and it isn't. But in a lot of ways, as far as it's the markets are concerned, where traders are, it's not a monetary metal. It's not. It might be a monetary metal in a community, but as far as like on the open markets, it's not considered that at all. It is an industrial metal, but they will consider gold as money. So a lot of times that becomes a flight to safety. But, just the opposite of what many people have been saying for many months, that the euro is going to crash, and here's the proof. The euro, lo and behold, the euro springs back. And I said for the next several months at least, the euro is probably going to spring back, and that's going to help the precious metals, including silver and everything. Palladium and platinum. So, beware of many people's advice because, I don't know, but some of these people talk like they've been experts in the field for a million years, and they do know, and I don't buy into their stuff either. They remind me of the same kind of people that were spouting the real estate. You can't lose. There's going to be a point in time when silver is going to crash, and like for instance, if you bought this stuff back here at $20-something or whatever, say you bought it at $22, and here it was down at 26. And you started selling in here, 34, 35, 40, 45. Well, you would have been okay. You wouldn't have got all of it right here. And that's kind of how I plan to do this maneuver with silver in when it plays out a little later on, when we start getting up into 3 digits and, over $100. And, you should be cautiously selling small amounts of it at a time. Take the cash, but also with the intention not to sell all of it, because there is going to be a major default of the United States, and I don't know what's going to happen then exactly. So you should hold the reserve on the side. There's no doubt about that.